Okay, I'm getting ready to catch up on some September pages, but I thought first I'd just give you a quick little flip through of August. I did not do July pages in this little daily journal. I was working on some other things and just did not keep up with this daily journal. This is the Hobonichi A6 of X, so I had a book that was January through June, and this is the July through December version that I decorated the cover of. So August, just jumped in with some of my printables in there, and I'm not going to give a lot of commentary, just kind of do a quick flip through. I did, most of these are my printables, but I will try to mention when I use someone else's. This is by Loveland's Life, as is this. And this. This was from an Etsy shop. I'll try to link down below. And that's August. So now I'm ready to go in September. You may have noticed some camping pages there. The trip continued through the first few days of September. So I will jump in there. This is one of my printables that I start the page, and I usually write like just kind of overview some of the things going on in the month. But right now I'm just going to go ahead and jump in and work on these pages. To start with, I've pulled out some of my printables that I would like to use, and these are some actually past ones. This one has like Main Street buildings on it, and we went to a little historic downtown area on this day, so I wanted to use those. I've also pulled out some of my camping sheets that I actually printed a bit smaller to go in my little A6 size. So I kind of have my pile over here of printables to pull from. These are printed on transparent label paper, and so you can see through them to the background. I also have laying here we went to a coffee shop, and I have a sticker from the coffee shop. I always watch for those whenever they're available. A lot of little stores and coffee shops and places will have their own stickers, and it's just an easy way to, make record of a visit to that place. I knew I had already printed some stickers that I've kind of stuck in the pages, but it looks like I didn't have the ones from this particular days that I'm working on. So I am going to pull out my Canon Selphy Square, is the little printer that I'm going to be using this time. This is my kind of in-between size portable printer. I don't use it on vacation unless we're going to, really be for a while. But I do enjoy it. In my studio is not near where my computer and office is, so it's just an easy way to print out those photos. I really like the options it gives for being able to print multiple photos per page, and because often I want to print them a little smaller. If I want a full size one, I can do that, but I can also choose to print multiple ones in various different configurations. So right now I'm looking at the photos I want for this day and looking at how they will best fit on my page. and I can print them out, you know, accordingly, either skinny photos or small photos or full-size photos. This particular printer does work from a square base, so it divides up a square space into your smaller photos. I do really like how easy it is to use and to crop your photos and get them just how you want them before you print, and it is I'd say one of the easiest photo printers I've used. It is also interesting to watch it print because it prints one color at a time. So it prints a color and then sucks it back into the little machine and then prints the next color. So it's kind of just fun to watch your photo develop as it comes out. I decided to go ahead and just leave the whole process of the printing in here so you can kind of get an idea how long it takes for the photo to print and what it looks like as it prints. I also have a smaller HP sprocket that I more often carry with me. It's a little bit smaller and it does a little bit smaller, I guess, prints, and they're fine too. I do think the quality of this is just a little bit better, so they both have their pros and cons, but I do enjoy having both of them for little travel photo pictures. So this time I printed in strips because I thought that would fit the page well, and so I just went ahead and cut those apart and getting those placed on the pages. It takes a little adjusting to work on these A6 pages because they are rather small, so when you include photos you've really got to consider that. If you printed a regular size photo, it would take the entire page, which could be okay too, you know, if you didn't want to do journaling on there. So I've kind of had to learn how to keep my photos smaller so that I can include everything I want on there. So that is the sacrifice you make, but I do love the size of page, and most of the time I'm just happy to have these smaller pages. I have ordered another A6 Avec Hobonichi for my 2024 daily pages as well, so I'm continuing to work in these pages again. I do like to run my images, especially like round ones like this, just slightly off the page. I like the way it looks, and it also makes the most of the page. And then I just take scissors and trim the little extra that's sticking off, even with the page edge. Then I'm ready to pull out this camping page that, as you can see, I've printed it smaller than full sheet size so that I have smaller elements to use. And I have this little camp stove that looks very much like the camp stove we use when we're out camping, and so I wanted to put that on there, and also the coffee mug because I really enjoy having that morning cup of coffee with the water heated over the camp stove and or the fire, either one. And there's just something especially good about a morning cup of coffee and a cool Colorado mountain morning. I thought that little coffee mug would be the perfect place to put the date for this day, and so I pulled out these dates by Loveland's Life and am cutting out the day. She has these cute watercolor circles, and I actually am just cutting out the number itself into a little rectangle that I will stick on top of the cup. So I think layering stickers is a really fun thing to do, and combining different stickers. So here we have part of one by Loveland's Life and then a printable of my own, and combined together we have this little camping date on there. I'm using, since my sticker was transparent and part of the date that's on the Hobonichi page was kind of showing through a little bit awkwardly, so I just used a white colored pencil to kind of doctor it up a little bit. And then I decided to just go ahead and put one of her dates on for the first as well, because I hadn't put a date on that page yet. Sometimes I wonder if I should just not worry so much about the dates and just, kind of journal straight through, but I don't know. I think the accountability of having a page per day is good for me. I want to make sure I really value each and every day, whether it seems like there's anything dramatic going on or not, because each day is precious. I'm just handwriting the day of the week on this one, and then I'll be ready to do some journaling. Some days I journal more than others, but I always try to do at least some on there. I don't have anything real profound to say, and it's just, like little everyday things that happened on that day. Like this is on a trip, so maybe it's a little more interesting, but most of the time it's just kind of what I did that day, which is not usually anything very spectacular, but it is a way of honoring the day, of saying that it mattered and that it counted and that those things that I did in the day are important. And I think it just kind of helps remind me as I live out my days to look at the events and the happenings and the thoughts and everything with gratitude and meaningfulness. Before I get too far journaling on the next day, I decide I better take a look at what the photos I want to print out for that day might be. I do have it's probably hard for you to see what it is, but I have a little chipmunk sitting on a rock, or ground squirrel I guess it is, sitting on a rock down there at the bottom, and so I just want to see what else I might want to put on that page. I'm kind of going back to see what I've used on some of the other pages to make sure I don't repeat anything, but I am looking just for like some of the campground scenes to put on this day. So I'm trying to decide, do I want it full size or do I want to do one of these arrangements? So now I go and I pick photos. After I've picked how I want the layout to be, then I go and pick the photos that are on my phone, and I'm ready to print them. So here's my two skinny little photos that I chose to print, and I'm just trying to incorporate that little ground squirrel in there to somehow figuring out the layout for my page. And once I decided, it's also nice that these photos print on sticker photo paper, so it makes it super easy to place them once I decide where they go. Another thing I like is that they also are somewhat thin when you peel that backing off, which is nice as far as not making your book end up too bulky. I even use this to print photos that I will use in my 5-year journal that I am kind of careful to not get too bulky since it's the whole year. I decided I want to trim this little ground squirrel piece so that it's kind of sticking out from behind, or it looks like it's sticking out from behind this other photo, but still shows the cute little guy sitting on a rock. I'm trying to decide whether to include this other little tiny photo that I had, and I decide that right in this spot I would rather journal. And then after I finish up the journaling, I want to leave room for the day of the week that it was, because I do usually put that in there one way or another. So I did a little watercolor background and some watercolor paint label, and those are the pages. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.